Hey guys, it's Justin, and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited today to be sharing with you this purple themed card I created using some new products by scrapbook.com. I started by grabbing the purple A2 smooth cardstock pad and used one of the lightest colors offered in the pack. I went ahead and took a foam blending tool and went ahead and blended the edges of the panel with some pixie dust ink by Catherine Pooler. Now, when I'm ink blending, whether it be with a foam blending tool or with a blending brush, I like to start off of the paper and I like to use a circular motion to help bring the ink smoothly onto the paper. This sort of technique allows me to get a nice sort of feathery ombre sort of effect where it doesn't add the ink color on too heavily to my card panel. So I'm just continuing with my circular motions, building up that pixie dust color until I get it exactly where I want to and I can move on to the next step. Using the Love You stamp set, I am going to use the small and medium sized hearts to help stamp out a custom background for my project. I'm using some Grape Crush ink by Catherine Pooler, and we're going to go ahead and stamp these medium-sized hearts into sort of a random pattern along the panel. Now you're going to see my heart isn't going to get a full impression on this bottom center area of the card. I will go back later with some enamel dots to cover up my imperfection. And honestly, I feel like if I didn't even mention it, you might not have even noticed it. I love those sort of techniques when you're creating cards and you can so easily cover up what I like to call card blemishes. And one of those techniques I love to use is covering them up with those embellishments. So we'll get to that a little later, but I'm finishing my technique. I'm stamping a couple that go off of the panel as well, just to give it more of a sort of continued effect. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab Crushed Violet ink, also by Catherine Pooler, which I'm going to use with the smaller heart, and I'm going to fill in all of those gaps that I have left after stamping out those medium-sized hearts. What I love about this technique too is that you can create a custom background pretty easily with these solid stamps. No two cards are really ever going to turn out the same, but it's just going to add a really fun customized effect. It's like creating your own pattern paper, and adding all these different shades of purple is just making my heart so happy. What I wanted to also add is a little bit of splatter to my pattern as well. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to wet some pixie dust ink, take a paintbrush and go ahead and just splatter it onto my project. I'm putting my hand up to sort of block any excess ink from going off into the other area of my workspace. And then I'm also going to be using the same technique with some Grape Crush ink just to add some darker splatters as well. Keep in mind, the more water you add to your ink, the more diluted the color will become, making it a little bit more lighter in appearance. So the darker you want it, the less water you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and use two of the darker patterns from the Purple Smooth Cardstock A2 pad, and I'm going to use this for a little bit of die cutting using the Love You shape dies. I'm going to use the large love sentiment, and I'm going to use that with the lighter purple. I'm going to use some Nina cardstock to die cut out just the outline of that love word, and then I'm going to use the dark purple with the U sentiment and the more Nina cardstock with the outline of the U. I used my mint tape to help get each of the die cuts in place, and then I'm going to bring some scissors in because two of these panels I can trim down a little bit less, and by cutting these little die cuts out, I'm going to save some crafting time, and it's going to save me one pass through my die cutting machine. So using my Spellbinder 6-inch platinum die cutting machine exclusively to scrapbook.com, I'm going to go ahead and die cut out each of my die cuts so I can spell this love you along with their shadows as well. I'm going to pull in my Grape Crush ink once again, and I'm going to ink blend the bottom of my love word. And this is going to add some really nice shading to this panel. The Grape Crush ink is definitely darker than the purple paper I selected to die cut the love word from, but by carefully blending it, it's going to blend really nicely into the lighter purple with the Grape Crush and give a fantastic ombre effect. Giving ombres to my die cuts and sort of distressing them is one of my absolute favorite things to do, and I always think it's a great way to really amp up your project and make them even a little bit more special that way. So we're going to go and make sure everything is good and blended with the love word. And then once everything is blended, I'm going to use some Artis liquid adhesive to get onto the back of this die cut, and we will adhere it to our white shadow piece as well. Now remember that white shadow is from Nina Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, and it's just going to give a really nice pop to the project. Next, using some foam tape from scrapbook.com, I'm going to go ahead and carefully place it onto the back of my project. Now, one of the things I always like to recommend when you're cutting foam tape, use non-stick scissors. They're really going to help cut down on any sort of unnecessary time that you may be spending cleaning off any of that stickiness from your scissors. So I always recommend getting a nice sharp pair of scissors that have that non-stick coating. I love these scissors from Spellbinders. They work perfectly and they're fantastic for fussy cutting as well. So I'm going to go ahead. I am going to remove the backing of my foam tape. I love that the scrapbook.com foam tape, the backing comes off really nice and easily. And then once I have everything removed, I'm going to do my best to get it placed nice and center for my project. So there you have the front of my card is coming together, but of course we're not done yet. Using some precision tweezers by scrapbook.com and my Artis liquid adhesive, I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the back of my U word die cut, and then I will adhere my U die cut directly on top of the shadow. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a little bit more of my foam tape from scrapbook.com and kind of piece little bits and bobs together so I can get as much coverage as possible without doing too much, of course. I'm going to remove the backing and place that U right in the center of love. And I'm loving how this is coming together. And there's not too much left to do, but we are going to add some clear glitter enamel dots. These, of course, are from Pink and Main, one of my absolute favorite places to get enamel dots from. They have such a great selection. And I love that placing these enamel dots is just going to add a little bit of extra interest and shimmer to the card. I don't know if you caught it. I did place an enamel dot right over that heart in the center bottom that didn't stamp out all the way, and you're barely going to be able to tell that it wasn't a complete stamp. So we are finishing out with all of our clear glitter enamel dots. You're seeing me kind of figure out where I want to go ahead and place them, and once I get that last one in place, I just have to apply some Artis liquid adhesive to my card panel, and then I'll be able to place it right onto one of my card bases. And there you have it. My card is entirely completed. Perfect for a loved one, perfect for Valentine's Day, or really just perfect for any of your friends that love the color purple. I know I have a couple friends that love that color, and I'm sure you do too. So thank you so very much for stopping by my blog today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.